Hi everybody. As you know, my name is Joe. Today is going to be a little bit different of a video. Today, I'm going to kind of talk about why I went missing for about 4 months and then kind of my journey through that. This is going to be kind of more of a mental health awareness type of video. Talk about my journey a little bit and my experiences through it. As you can see right now, I have Stardew Valley up. Maybe you're kind of excited. Maybe you thought I was going to fire up Stardew Valley and we're going to create a farm or something. Maybe we will have a Stardew Valley farm eventually. But I just kind of threw this on to kind of put something on in the background while we just chatted. So I chose Stardew because it's a comfort game for me, as it is for a lot of other people, and it's just really easy to just kind of get lost in this world and just enjoy things. And we don't really have to like really focus hard on the gameplay. We can kind of just enjoy and walk through. But I went through something pretty personal 4 months ago that led me to go to therapy, like really go to therapy, like actually try therapy really for the long haul. And I can honestly say it was probably one of the best decisions of my life. It honestly probably saved my life going forward. At least it's going to help me become someone that I want to be. All right, this is tough. I want to be open and I want to be honest and I want to be vulnerable. I want to be able to talk to people like this openly. I want to be able to share and show people that it's okay. I'm 29 years old. I'm a middle-aged man who makes YouTube videos for fun and enjoys his job, and I lost something really important to me that caused this to happen. This is tough. This is gonna be a lot harder to do than I thought it would be. But that's okay. What I went through, I'm not gonna share exactly what it was because that's more for me and my growth than it is to really put out in the world. It caused me to look at things just a little bit differently and how I approached my life. Like my whole life growing up, I kind of always thought I had to be tough and strong and just like men were, and that they're put their emotions away for the rest of their families and do the tough stuff. And I've lost best friends to car accidents, or I've lost them to drugs. I myself have pretty much died before, a long time ago. I feel like I never really shared or talked about that with anybody. I think the world needs just a little bit more of people sharing, especially men, especially older men. Now, I'm not saying 29's old, like I'm not the oldest of the men around the YouTube sphere and all that kind of stuff. But I feel like it is really important to be honest with ourselves and be honest with those around us. We never know what people are really going through in their life, and we don't really understand how something so small can expand so much further. Like, use me as an example here. I would do this thing where when I was really upset with myself, or I felt like I wasn't worthy of anything, or I didn't deserve the love that I was getting, I would do this thing where I would challenge myself into hurting myself. I would challenge myself to try not to do, like, this is gonna sound so weird. I would challenge myself to we'll use something like alcohol, for example. We'll use that, where I would have a bottle of alcohol next to me, and I knew I wouldn't want to drink, or I wouldn't want to be drunk or stuff like that. And I put it in front of me as a vice, and I would take a drink and see if I would challenge myself to not keep going. And I found out that when I do this kind of stuff, it's a form of self-harm, and that's not okay. And I know everybody has their own coping mechanisms and the own way they do things and how they operate, but we don't need to do those things. Everybody in the world has people that love them or care for them or would talk to them if they're not feeling right. Even random strangers. I've met a lot of strangers out there that have become friends who just would listen to you for a second. And it's one of the most freeing experiences in the world. And I wish we would talk with each other a lot more. I wish we would go out in the world and share more experiences with each other so we didn't feel this impending sense of loneliness. I don't even think that's a word. I know they talk about the male loneliness pandemic, and it really is something that's kind of just made up in our own heads. We're not really alone. We're forcing ourselves to be alone because we think no one can handle our problems. We think that it's best to handle our problems our own and fight the good fight by ourselves, when in reality it's not really a good fight. It is just us suffering in silence. And I don't think that's something that we need to do necessarily. That's something we don't need to do at all, not even necessarily. And I think I'm gonna keep saying older, but being older, I want to be able to share with my friends, and I want to share with my family. I want to share with the people I love, and I want them to know that even though I felt alone, or I didn't feel worthy, or I didn't feel loved, that it wasn't their fault at all. It was mine. It was mine for putting myself in that own mindset. It was my fault for thinking that I had all these people around me that cared, and I had to do everything alone, which I know isn't necessarily, not even necessarily, I keep saying necessarily, but it's not true. It's not. I know my friends love me. I know my family loves me. I know I have love out there. I know I have someone who loves me so deeply, but yet I felt the need to punish myself when I didn't think I deserved it. And that's kind of what caused me to go into a dark spiral of time, and that's why I didn't put out any videos for so long, is because I felt like I wasn't good enough to be putting these things out there. It wasn't worth time. It wasn't worth effort. It wasn't worth it if no one was going to look at it. But that's not true at all. I recently watched back my series of I can't even, Into the Deep, and I had an end message there talking about how I was really enjoying it and I was really happy, and no matter what I was going to keep going, and I was going to try and push myself towards this goal of having a video out every week for 52 weeks for a whole year. My 52 weeks hit in July, and I felt this impending sense of sadness because I didn't complete my goal. That hurt. That sucked. Something easily preventable. And I know it's tough to film a video and then edit it when doing it all by yourself and getting your scripts correct and making sure the gameplay is entertaining and keeping up a personality, but sometimes we need those little things to push us a little further. And it's great to have goals, and it's great to have ambitions, and it's good to dream. Like, the ultimate goal with all of this stuff would be to, you know, make a career out of it. Even if I just had like 5,000 subscribers and I was making like $200 a month off of YouTube, that would have been awesome. That would have been something I could strive for. But I let myself down. And I think that was the most disappointing thing, was that I let myself down. Through therapy, I learned that there's a bunch of different ways to react and see different situations. One of the big one was there's 5 levels, and 5 being the highest. So when you're put yourself in a really sad situation or a really bad situation, or somewhere where you're deeply depressed and you're sad, is this something that you caused because you put a situation that deserved a 2 into a 5? Like, I'm going to use the example he gave me, and it's an example I like to think back on quite a bit. He told me he had this one patient when he was doing anger management, that he was in there because he freaked out on this guy in a car so bad that it almost caused a physical fight, and then the guy sued him and all this kind of stuff. What happened was he was driving in Toronto traffic, and this guy turned off and cut him off, and he had his son in his car. So he freaked out. He was like, he could have killed me, he could have killed my son. He wasn't paying attention where he's going, but he did have time to react, he did have time to brake, and he did have time to control the situation. That was out of his mind. He followed this guy to a gas station and freaked out on him. What he learned later was this was an old man, about 70 years old, driving in Toronto for the very first time, trying to get to his appointment. Was it to some sort of doctor's appointment? He was sick. And if he would have known that, he probably would have reacted with a little more kindness. And that sticks with me. That kind of sat in my brain for a long time, because there's some situations where I'll get really angry at somebody, I'll call them a fucking moron, and I will just kind of lose my mind. But I don't think about, hey, maybe there's something that's going on that's caused them to do this stupid thing, even though it's stupid, and even though it makes me mad, that it wasn't worth me bringing up a 5. Like, maybe it was just worth a 3. Maybe I shouldn't have yelled at them. Maybe I shouldn't have called them names. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. And that's kind of resonated with me a bit. Well, not even a bit. It's resonated with me a lot, because there's now times in my life where I will do something and I will talk about something, or something will happen and I go, does this deserve a 5 or does this deserve a 2? And I'll walk myself back. And I think that's something really important that a lot of people, not just men, but everyone should take in general, is, does the situation deserve a 5, or am I really making a 2 situation into a 5 and making everything worse? Sorry, there's gonna be a lot of weird pauses in this, because I'm not going off a script, I'm not looking at anything, I'm kind of just talking. I'm talking through the heart, talking through the soul, and it's tough. It's tough to share things and be vulnerable with people, and that's kind of the main thing about what I really want to talk about right now, is that me sharing this with you, the viewer, it's okay. It is okay for me to say these things, and it is okay for me to share. It's okay for me to say, hey, I was really depressed at one point, I was really sad about stuff, I was angry, I was disappointed in myself, I hated myself. It's okay to say. What's not okay is to keep thinking that and keep letting that affect others in your entire life and making their lives more miserable when they love you and they care about you so much and they want to be there for you and they want to help, but you're making it so much worse by bringing those 5s, or not even taking accountability for things you've done. Like, if you, let's use an example and say you did a situation that you did a 5. when really it was a 2. Are you willing to take a step back and apologize and say, hey, I was very frustrated, I shouldn't have gone that far? And you would be so surprised at how much that'll change people's perception, how much people will forgive that. Now, I'm not saying go around and beat the shit out of people and then say, hey, sorry, shouldn't have done a 5, I should have did a 2. That's not okay. That's a completely different story. What I am saying is taking accountability for your actions, for things that you could have controlled when it was easy to control. Because eventually you're going to come down to a point where you don't have that anymore. You don't have that control. You don't have anything because you let everything take a 5 all the time. And it's okay to be sad. It's okay to be sad about certain things and sad about stuff and sit in those feelings. Don't ever not sit in feelings, because you need to sit in something to feel it before you can fix it. I hope that makes sense. Now, during my journey and what I went through and what I talked about and kind of what I shared and stuff I've done, I have a notebook right next to me of just notes filled to the brim of like therapy things, notes that I've taken, stuff like that. Because I wanted to learn and I wanted to get better and I wanted to understand why I did certain things. Sometimes something is just completely unmedicated. Like maybe you have ADHD that's unmedicated. Maybe you have some form of autism that you're unaware of. Maybe you have something inside you that you don't know about, that you can't really fully control or understand until you go and book that doctor's appointment and find out what's going on. It's okay to book doctor's appointment to find out what's going on in your life. It is. No one's going to be mad at you or upset with you or think you're weak for trying to get better. Going to a doctor or going to a therapist or going to talk to a friend isn't making you weak. It's not making you look worse than you are. It's showing people that you're not willing to give up. It's showing people that you are okay with keep on fighting and you're like, I need help. The strongest armies don't win it by themselves. They win it with multiple people. You're not fighting your battles alone. And I think that's something we really have to remember, is that we don't have to fight every single battle alone, you know? And I'm sure there's a lot of people out there, maybe there's a couple people watching this video that have lost some people into some dark stuff, and you really wish, hey, maybe that person wouldn't have gone that far if they didn't feel alone. And I wish I could have been there for them so they didn't feel alone. I think about that a lot, and that makes it come back to me when I think, hey, maybe I shouldn't fight all these battles alone either, because there's somebody out there that will also share those feelings with me, or they'll talk to me about it, or they'll fight with me. And I think that's one of the most important things in life, is to find somebody, friend, a lover, a family member, some random stranger you meet in the bathroom, that'll go to war for you. There's no better time in your life than when you're out doing something, say randomly out there, and you meet some random person. Like literally, we're gonna use a bar as an example. You go to a bar and you go to the bathroom and you meet somebody out there and they ask you some questions, or somebody who's being rude to you on the street, and they're just like, oh, you know what? Fuck those people. Like, I got you. Do you think they're top shit? No, I got you. There's no better feeling in the world than some random person being like, I got your back. Because it's nice to feel like somebody has your back all the time. And we would all feel like that a lot more if we shared these kind of things with people and said, hey, I'm not okay. And I hope maybe just one person that watches this sees this and goes, maybe I'm not okay. Maybe I do need to reach out to some family members. Maybe I do need to reach out to a friend. Maybe I do need to talk to my wife or girlfriend or partner. And maybe I need to share what's going really on inside me, because I'm not well and I need a partner. Batman always had Robin. Superman had Crypto. Everybody had somebody. And I know maybe you're watching this like, I don't have anybody. I guarantee you that there's somebody out there that'll go to bat for you. And if you don't think you can find anybody, throw an email my way. I'll go to bat for you. Because we need to stop this whole we're all alone thing. Because we're not. And I think the world will be just a little bit nicer of a place if we're not just constantly battling by ourselves. We're not trying to deal with our problems in silence. And I know I talked about it being okay to be sad, and I want to come back to that, because one of the biggest things I did was learn that it's okay to be sad, and it's okay to be upset with yourself. It is. That's a normal human response. There's no way you go through their whole life going, I did everything perfectly, because that's not fucking true. Sorry to burst your bubble, but that's not true. And we need to kind of sit with that and learn why we feel the things that we feel. And I really want to give a big shout out to Mario. Mario is my therapist, not the brother of Luigi. He really did help me get through a lot of stuff and made me really learn a lot of stuff about myself, and really got me to write down a lot of fucking notes. So Mario, for some reason you're watching my videos and to see if I'm mentally stable or if I'm okay. I'm doing okay. And thank you so much for all your help. I really appreciate it. Like a lot. And I think even if you have a feeling that maybe one of your friends is feeling down or someone you care about is just kind of off, it's okay to give them a phone call. Just say, hey, just thinking about you. Love you. Because you have no idea the impact that'll have on somebody's life. You have no idea how much somebody just hearing the words, I love you, will do to somebody's soul. I love being told that I'm loved. I do. I'm a little selfish prick. I love when people love me. I do. I wanted to go my whole life being liked. And I think that was one of my main problems, is that I always wanted to be liked and enjoyed and had around and invited to stuff. And sometimes that's just not the case. I can't make everyone like me. I can be a good person to me, but I can't make everyone like me. And that's okay. We're not everyone's cup of tea. I don't love every Gatorade flavor, so I'm not gonna love every person. And I'm not saying you have to go out in the world and be this savant and volunteer at animal shelters and pay for charities. It's good things to do, don't get me wrong. Like, if you want to do that, please do it. But you don't have to do that to be a good person. I think we can't become good people until we become good people to ourselves. If you are feeling like you really hate yourself and you're saying these mean things to yourself and you're saying that you feel ugly, or you feel not perfect, or if you call yourself dumb or an idiot, or if you say that stuff, if you look in the mirror and say that stuff to yourself, that hurts. And I want you to picture yourself saying that to someone else now. Would you ever say those things to them? No, because you're not a horrible person. And I think we need to learn to not say those things to ourselves either, because we're not horrible people. We don't deserve that. I don't deserve that. You don't deserve that. You, in the camera, watching this right now, you do not deserve that. Okay? I think we can give all the love in the world that we want to other people, but we have to remember to love ourselves as well. We need to share the good times. We need to share the bad times. Love is one of the most powerful drugs in the world. Maybe heroin and crystal meth. I've heard that some crazy shit about that, but love is pretty powerful. And not even just the love for, like I said, your partner or a friend or a family member. Love for yourself. Loving yourself will get you through more things than not. And I'm not talking about like narcissistic love where you think you can't do no wrong and you're the most perfect human in the world. I'm talking true inner love for yourself, where you can look yourself in the mirror and say, hey, I got your back today. If anything goes wrong, I have you. And I know we always want to trust ourselves and we always want to be talking to ourselves and saying these things. And you know what's crazy? The brain is one of the biggest liars in the entire world. There's no one else that will lie to you more than your own brain. Sometimes it's good lies, sometimes it's bad lies. Those are the ones that we have to say, okay, settle the fuck down, brain. Now you're talking too much shit, talking out of your ass, and you don't even have one. Now that I'm back to making videos, and I'm still not 100%. I'm still not 100% back mentally where I was when everything happened. I'm still not 100% healed. And I know it's going to take a long fucking time, and I'm still working really hard on myself. As we should all. We should always be working on ourselves and learning different things about ourselves. And I know that's going to take a lot of time. And that's okay. Because I got a lot of fucking time on this earth still. I know some of us might be like, we're almost 40. We're turning 30 soon. I'm 25. My life is ending. That's not fucking true. I'll be honest with you. I'm living alive for 29 years and it's been the longest fucking time of my life. If I have to do another 29 years and I barely remember the first 8 years, I got a lot of time to go. And I gotta know there's a lot of world out there for me to see and experience. And maybe I'm not gonna see the whole world. Maybe I won't see Japan like I want to, or South Korea, or go to China, or go to freaking New Zealand, or Australia, or Ireland, all these places I want to see and discover. Maybe I won't go to those places. Maybe I do run out of time, and that's okay, because in the time that I have, I am going to learn more about myself, and I'm going to learn how to love myself as well. And I hope you do too, because as much time as we have and as much time I just talked about that feels infinite, it does end. At some point it will. And maybe not for you. Maybe for someone else you love. And I think that's kind of the most important thing, is knowing that not all time is infinite. It may feel like a long fucking time, but that's why we have to tell people that we love them and let them know, hey, I got your back, like we talked about. I know it kind of feels like I'm just rambling on about random stuff, but I do promise you there's a whole point to this. There is a situation where this makes all sense. And I hope maybe just a little bit of my message resonates with you a little bit. Going forward, I'm going to keep making videos. I'm going to keep doing this kind of stuff, because the whole point of this is for you to hear me and listen to me, and maybe just having one thing hit you hard enough that you'll reach out to somebody. And maybe we'll do more of this kind of stuff where I just kind of talk about, or maybe I talked about more things. And maybe this is a new series we do once in a while, but that's really not the point of this. The point of this was me to share with you that it's okay to not be okay. And that there is options out there for you, and that it's okay to let your love happen. and it's okay to love others, and it's okay to share with others. You're not burdening anybody. You're being vulnerable, and that's okay. It is okay to be vulnerable. It is okay to be sad, and it is okay to not feel okay sometimes. We just got to sit with it. And if we sit with it, maybe we can enjoy life just a little bit more, knowing we know how to get through that kind of sadness now. Maybe we sit in a world where you have to be perfect and beautiful with social media and Instagram and seeing all this kind of stuff and seeing nasty things on Twitter. By the way, we should all just delete Twitter because it is just a cesspool for terrible things. That's not the point of this, but that's just a side note. Maybe we kind of go through life a little bit now knowing that a little kindness, not only to others, but also to ourselves, will go a long way. And yeah, I think that's all I really want to talk about right now. I know I really didn't talk a lot about my journey and what I experienced a lot. And I kind of just rambled off on things, but it was something that when I was going through what I was going through, even before I was going through it, before everything happened, I needed to hear those things. If I would have known those things before, I wouldn't be in that situation where I was. And I think that's the biggest takeaway out of everything, is knowing that we can put ourselves in better situations in the future, and we can prevent things that happen in the future by letting ourselves feel loved and knowing not to listen to ourselves when we say we're not loved, because we do. We all have bad days, every single one of us. Can't tell me you've never had one single bad day in your life. But I think that's it. Maybe this is a little longer than I thought it was going to be, but just know that there's an entire world out there for you to experience and to be a part of. And one bad day or some bad feelings isn't going to change anything. And that you should talk to others, and you should share your experiences, and you should speak and not feel like you have to keep everything inside of you. That is one of the biggest takeaways I want to put here, is to, one, not react to situations that feel so dire when they're not really that dire. And two, feel love for yourself so others can love you the way you want to be loved. Okay? Yeah, I'm going to sign off now. I'll see you guys in the next video, which should be a little more fun, or it might just be one super long cut of Still Wakes the Deep, because do that. I kind of want to put out one really long 7-hour video, or whatever it is, like 5 hours, I think, altogether, because I think that'd be kind of cool just to watch one. But that doesn't matter. You matter, and I matter. Okay? Remember, I love you. Boop. I'll see you in the next one.